probably something will pop up on this saying when you're about to go live. Just click that. And here we are. I'm gonna play this intro, y'all. Y'all can hear that?
Yeah.
Welcome to Inside the Logic. And you know who it is. This is Mindful G coming through with another thought-provoking episode. Today we're going to talk about something that's used to be taboo in the Black community, but it been caught on big time, and that is going under the knife, plastic surgery, BBLs, reductions, lips, Botox, and all that other stuff that I don't know all the names to. But I want to welcome you all, and we have the live chat. When you come in, if you got something to say, we'll check you out and see what our panelists. I want to let y'all in on who's here, who came through to share their comments and views on this. I would like to, two good friends of mine also. Tori, who I've known for many, many, many years. Tori's, she in the game like me. She loves everything AV, but she does a lot more than that. And Janelle, and I'll let both of them introduce themselves in a second. So we have a few more people coming. So if anybody pops in, that's Black People Time people, and we'll welcome them anyway. But to go on, Tori, go ahead and tell everybody who you are and what you do and whatever else.
I don't want to tell too much. My name's Tori. Greg and I worked together for years in AV. Like he said, I work in radio. My background is radio, sports in particular. So obviously this is my favorite time of year. But I'm taking some time out to sit and chat with Greg. And just looking forward to a good conversation.
Janelle.
Hello, I'm Janelle. I currently work with Greg. I got nothing else to say. It's an interesting topic.
Yeah, that's how you do, Janelle. You just clap right over top of her because she's not, but she's a good person.
I'll find out. Don't play with me. Don't do that. Listen, Black women matter. Be nice to me.
Always. It's nothing like a Black woman. Nothing like a Black woman. I love all women, but I really, really, really love Black women. We can get that out of the way right away, I mean, attitude and all. I love them all. So
whatever, you bring it out of people.
Yeah, okay. Well, again, so I'm gonna start out, I'll start out with Tori, and then when Tori finishes, Janelle, you can give your comment on this. Like so many things, the reason this topic came up to me was I'm hoping, or maybe you didn't or did hear about the girl that went to Mexico with her friends, and then some of them got killed. But the premise they used was that she was going down there to get her second follow-up for a BBL procedure. I mean, as things changed, it seemed that they were probably going for drugs or something. Nevertheless, it brought to my attention, like, how far would a woman go, for a big butt or larger titties or whatever the case may be? I mean, it's just crazy. So I'm gonna start off, and I'll ask you, Tori, first, and then follow up with you, Janelle. Sorry, Janelle. Why do you think plastic surgery is so popular now when in the Black communities it used to be considered taboo?
That's a great question. I don't understand, actually, because traditionally, plastic surgery was other people making augmentations to look more like us. So I don't understand why they're going to get work done to do things that you naturally already have. I don't get it at all, to be honest with you. That's a great question. I don't have an answer for it. I wish I did.
Hey, some answers there's no correct answer. There's just your opinion. Janelle, what do you think?
Well, with regard to it being taboo, I think what we aren't factoring in is accessibility and affordability. So the wage gap has lessened. Black women are now statistically, the most educated, demographic. So with that education comes a wage increase. So there's that, financial aspect, the accessibility, back in the day, doctors weren't operating on us. We're still behind the eight ball when it comes to medical situations, because it's, oh, well, they're Black, so their skin is thicker and they can handle pain more. And so we're dying at higher rates. And then when we go into the doctor's offices and we tell them we're in pain, it's like, oh, well, your pain tolerance is higher. For whatever reason, I don't know. It still goes into that trope of Black women just have to suffer and grin and bear it. Like we're just constantly having to suffer. We're strong, we can take it. It's everybody promote that strong Black woman. What if I want to be a soft Black woman? Am I any less valuable? So I think a big part of it is, I know social media. And it's not just social media now, it's social media in whatever era that person grew up, like when their formative years hit in and what they were seeing as what's beautiful in that moment. And if you don't have representation in your life and you don't have someone in your life regularly pushing to you that your Black is beautiful and you're good where you stand, then you get the body dysmorphia issues. Historically, we saw white women or women of other non-Black women trying to getting augmentations and believing that they were looking more like us and they were appreciating our features. But if you look at it, it's drastically they look like caricatures. It's so dramatic. Like the lips are so big and like the cheekbones are so high. And it's like, you look like a lion. You look like a cat. That's not what Black women look like, but that's how they see us. They see our features so exaggerated that they keep going to the doctor and it's not enough and it's not enough. And quite honestly, it's never going to be enough. But it's not just women. Like, there are men who go and get augmentations and some kind of cosmetic surgery as well. If it's hair plugs, if it's teeth whitening, now they can get, injections in their penises, whatever, to help either with erectile dysfunction or to make them longer, thicker, whatever, because they have some issues with the size of their penis. Like, it's all about the mental. I really think is what it boils down to. Some women get it, or some people, get it, because maybe they, like if I was to have a mastectomy, I would and if it was a single mastectomy, I would probably get a implant so that way I'm balanced out, because that, that's where I lead into my femininity. Or if I was to have a double mastectomy, chances are, depending on how bad my cancer was, the recovery and all that, I would get my breast augmented, because it's about my mental and being like feeling like I'm whole, I'm okay, I'm healthy, like I can look at myself in the mirror and be okay with that and be happy and not be disgusted by it or feel less than because I'm distracted by how I look, because I'm not happy with how I look. But I think a good bit of it is also doctors being greedy and capitalism. So if you have an ethical doctor that says, you've come to me 5 times in the last 2 years to get something done and get this done and get this done, and it's not like a quick nip tuck, like a nip tuck, they're just chasing the money. At some point, when do the doctors stop and say, hey, can you turn it back on? Thank you. At some point, when do the doctors stop and say, you know what? You need to go to a therapist, because no matter what I do to you, no matter how much plastic I pump in you or fat I suck out of you, you're not gonna see that you're beautiful or that there's nothing wrong with you. It's a psychiatrist or, a therapist somehow needs to be brought in. I don't know
Yeah, well, I mean,
you
you're
know?
making a point there, and the fact that you brought that part up, like I've read doing some of the research that a lot of the doctors, well, I'm gonna say a lot, but the ones that they interviewed or researched, they said the same thing you said, like their first, I guess this is more so for the guilt or the just to feel right. That's the first thing they say, hey, are you really sure about this? That whole concern thing first. So
Yeah.
yes, if something goes wrong or if any, and then the family are coming or you got to go to court, they can say, hey, well, before we did anything, I said, are you sure? Is this what you want to do? And,
Right.
so it's that type of thing. But again, I'll ask you and I'll ask everyone that's listening. It says, have you ever heard of body dysmorphic disorder?
Yes.
Okay, see, black men, we don't know what that is. Like if you were to say that to me, we'd be like, hold on, let me Google that. I got you.
But that's not, it's not, that has nothing to do with gender.
Well, no, I'm saying in the sense of how the women have really nothing wrong with themselves physically to the layman. Like to most men, they look beautiful, but to them, they look like they're flawed. And,
Yeah.
and that's the clinical name of someone that possesses those type of traits when it becomes to their body and then we keep trying to do stuff to their body. It's like,
Yeah.
so it's like I said, that's a question in itself that you can ask, but everybody's entitled to their opinion because it's their body. They can do what they want to do with it, but I'll say this, like, what do you think the like most basic cause for women now, even the ones that don't have the money to do it, but still so adamant on, do you think it's their hatred of whatever body part that is, or dislike? Hatred may be a little too hard, but or men, because I've heard a lot of women say, oh, we doing it because men, the attraction for men or the attraction to whatever ever they trying to attract. So what do
You
you?
want to take that, Tori, and I'll jump in behind you?
It's hard to say what's the most common because there is no common. Everybody has their different reasons. Some people's reasons are, they have a perception of beauty that they want to achieve. So some women like the thin in the waist, big booty, all that good stuff. So that's what they want to look like. Why they want to look like that? It's a personal reason. It could be that someone that they were attracted to, that's what they like. Right. Some want bigger breasts because in their minds, that's what attracts men, but not all men like that. A lot of women are getting surgery now. They're calling it mommy makeovers. They're just getting the tummy tucks because, they've had kids and they want to tighten it up because they still living in their 40s or, even the 50s.
Right.
There is no common reason. There are tons of different reasons. It's just like the question of the day, how far are you willing to go? Like everybody wants to look, I want to be a little slimmer in the tummy, but I have no interest in going under the knife to do that. I've had friends who wanted bigger breasts and they went and got bigger breasts from a doctor. It was okay, so that's what you do. Some people have phobias from growing up. A lot of women grew up to stick figures. And so as soon as they get a chance or they get the money or they get of age, I'm going to get this body. My issue with younger women getting these surgeries done is that you're doing it so soon, your body is constantly changing. So surgery at 20 years old, you're going to feel out at 30. You should have just waited till 30. So then when you start to feel out at 30 now, because of the surgery you got, you're getting extra stuff. Now you got to go get surgery again to take some of that out. It's like, just be
right.
Your body catch up to you.
Right. And that leads and segues into the question. Janelle, did you have anything to say on that question as well?
I do agree with Tori. There's a myriad of reasons. It can be, and if I decide to go get surgery, it could be an amalgamation of things. Like for me, if my depression or my anxiety flares up badly, and once I finally come down from that, and I'm like, for so long, I felt like I was out of control of my life and I couldn't control things. As always, I need to be able to control something. So I'll get something tattooed, or I'll get something pierced, or I'll dye my hair. So, you know, somebody may decide that surgery is their tattoo, their piercing, their hair dyeing. They need to be able to control something to help deal with the fact that there were other aspects in their life that they just could not handle, they couldn't be in control of. And it can be exhausting to feel like you're not in control of any little thing in your life, and you like, I just need something, you know?
I feel you. And also to comment on what you said earlier, saying it's not all always women. And true, this is not a bashing. This is not a women bashing. I do know that men do it, and some very popular men that you know, of course, they're in the entertainment world. However, they still get it done. And just to put a top one out there, Kanye West, he got liposuction. And the reason was, this was during the before the wedding, because social media called Rob Kardashian fat, and Kanye said, "Oh nah, they ain't gonna call me fat." When, you know, because of course, you know, they're gonna have 8 billion pictures of everything about their wedding, and you know, he went under the knife. And I'm honest, I didn't know that. I mean, they said 50, a couple other people did it as well. I expect movie stars, you know, and men, you know, because that's just what they do in those worlds. The younger you appear, for as long as you can appear like that, you still can get parts and, you know, stuff like that. Whatever floats their boat, you know?
There's dudes out here getting calf implants because, you know, we give brothers a hard time. When I say brothers, I mean dudes. We give dudes a hard time about skipping leg day, so they getting calf implants nowadays. Everybody's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy. I mean, like I said, it's good that everyone's out here being, even in this past pandemic, able to afford to do things like that, but a lot can't afford it. So we can segue into, you know, the ones that goes to the back alley or, you know, storefronts, but they have no type of credentials or anything, you know. So I this is a question I ask you both for real, because it's like, how can someone knowingly, you know, some people, I guess they don't read or they don't listen to the stories or whatever, but it's like, if you go to a reputable and pay the 10, 3, 5, whatever thousand it costs, and it's still a chance that you'll get sick or you can get complications, how can I even convince myself that I can go to Shorty house down the street and she knows somebody that'll come to you and do it for like 1,500? No.
I can tell you that right now. There are people out there, they figure you can get sick or you can get an infection in a hospital here or in a reputable hospital. So if I'm gonna take a chance, I might as well do it on the cheap. It's people out here getting veneers, getting their teeth fixed in somebody's house. Like, I don't get it, but that is their logic. That is their logic. That they figure, if there is a chance I can get the same infection in a hospital, so why am I paying twice as much? I'll take the same chance there.
That is crazy.
That's wild to me. Yeah. Yes. And they're doing it with people they so-called trust. I trust such and such. Okay, but such and such doesn't have a medical license for a reason.
Right. Right. And that's the whole point. What do you think, Janelle?
Crap, what was my thought? Thanks, Tori.
My bad.
The ADHD. Some people, you know, especially the younger people, you're more fearless. You don't think that that anything can happen to you. You know, you have that invincible thought, like reality and the fact that life can happen really doesn't set in, you know, from a scientific standpoint. It's my understanding that the adult brain doesn't kick in until 25. So prior to that, all of your decision making is based off of emotion. So they may not even be considering sickness and complications. They just like, listen, this is what I want. I talked to some people, such and such, and they mama and they auntie and they daddy and they uncle all went to that lady, Miss Mabel, up the street. Nothing happened to them, so I'm gonna go. Bet. Cool. You know, it's not like you could be the one in a million. Even if it's a 1 in a million chance, that means there's one. But it never crosses their mind that they could be that one.
That one, yeah.
And if it, like, honestly, I don't have anything that I'm completely just like, I'm desperate enough that I'm gonna change about myself that I throw out risk. You know, like,
Yeah.
I got braces when I was 29 because I could afford it then, and I went to to my dentist. Like, I went to an orthodontist, and I was able to pay for it. Like, that's not something, for me, there's nothing about me that I hate so much that I'm willing to risk my life and my health for. But not everybody thinks like that. They're not like that body dysmorphic disease, like whatever. I'm sorry, what is it called?
Yeah, it's body dysmorphic disorder.
That's heavy for some people. That's like, imagine, that's my understanding. Hoping this isn't like offensive to some people. And if anybody wants to get in the chat or whatever, email Greg and educate me. Send all your correspondence to Greg. But like, in that along the lines with people who are like with transgender people, and it's like, you know what, this is not the body I'm supposed to be in. It's just it's a different level, but it's still the same as, I don't like my body. I don't feel right in it. And with that, I mean, it's a different, I feel like it's different, but it's still under the umbrella, constantly getting plastic surgery, because your waist can't get small enough and your hips can't get big enough and your breasts have to be like a Z kind of thing when your waist is a 2. First of all, aesthetically it's ugly. It's horrible.
Well, and it's not like Tori said, it is not like all men. We don't be like, ooh, I want that. I mean,
not everybody does it for men.
Yeah, well,
like some people, they're competing with themselves. They're competing with society. They're competing with other women, maybe in their lives. Like, if I, as a single woman at 35, have a girlfriend who's got a bombing body, like body's popping, and she's constantly getting dates and getting men, to buy her stuff and go on trips and this and that, and I want that kind of lifestyle. My thought is, if I'm that desperate, my thought very well could be, if I get that body, then I can have what she has. So it could be, jealousy. It's not all just about, I mean, a good bit of it is probably like, okay, I want to be attracted to this man. What do I see in society? I constantly see fair-skinned women with small hips, large breasts, jiggly big old booties, maybe the doughy, kind of deer eyes, and like, juicy soup coolers or whatever, just, all of that. And it's like, oh, well, that must be what beauty is. So if I'm not that, then I need to get that. Because that's what you see in the videos. That's what you see all over Instagram.
But that's just it. That's make pretend. That's that, like sometimes, men or women, whoever thinking about doing any of these types of things, to me, anything that's health conscious, it affects your health by all means. I would never hold any type of opinion, grudge, or anything against somebody who had to do it because it was affecting their health. Now, if it's only affecting your mental health, then yeah, you need to find somebody's couch and get some help, because before you roll the dice too many times on the table and it be your last time on the table,
But how many people have mature people like that in their lives trying to talk them down? Like, we're able to have this conversation because we are like-minded people. So just like somebody else has a poison brain, they're probably surrounding themselves with poison brain people or keeping yes men around, especially if they have people and they're like trying to talk them out of it. So, and we also take for granted that we had access to education, with our jobs, health insurance, so we can speak with a therapist. Not everybody has that. Maybe they didn't have a parent or a guardian really speaking life into them. Maybe no one in life has spoken, true value into them. So they just they hate themselves completely. And the only thing they can do.
Well, so do you think like we'll speak with the demographic Gen Z, maybe some of Generation X or next or whatever ones after me. We won't even talk about my age.
Right.
But you know, do you think a lot of them are out here just trying to keep up with society's trends and standards? And the standards, I'm not talking about the standards that they get from home, from mom or dad,
Right.
or whoever they look up to in those areas, but majority of our kids or young kids, nieces, nephews, they growing up online. So you can say whatever you want, because it's like soon as you finish saying what you're saying, they may have been on the phone while you were saying what you were saying, paying you no attention. So it's just like, oh, if I want to tell my child something, and this is hypothetical, let me text them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, do you think a lot, social media videos, on top of just everyday trending internet has affects a lot of the decisions today when it comes to like any type of self-improvement?
Absolutely. When you think about accessibility, you think about what's projected, and this is no different than when we were saying at work, like Jet Beauty of the Week or Ebony, like you see these women on the covers, or you see them in Cosmopolitan, or all these magazines, like How to Make Your Man Love You, and none of them, or like How to Be Your Happiest Self, and it's like it's about, oh, go get some makeup or do a facial. And self-care is absolutely important, and maintaining your skin, all that is great for self-love. But if it's solely based in aesthetics and just like, okay, you're so close, but you're not there yet, that kind of thing, then it's going to always be that thought that I'm so close to being perfect, but I just need to do this one neck surgery. Like or not even, that's on a good day. That's like, I know I'm scatterbrained, but it's really like, yeah, social media, but it's not just the internet or like TikTok or Instagram, because there was social media prior to that. We grew up with BET and VH1 and MTV and seeing these women in these videos. Representation is important. And when you constantly see fair-skinned women with quote unquote good hair, when all hair is good hair, no matter what texture, whether it's 4C or not,
that's true.
It's
Very
like, it's
true.
perpetuated that you're not good enough. Like at 35, I am still impacted by being called ugly or too fat or too black back in elementary school. That was in the 90s. I was born in 87.
So you're saying it's much harder today because it's much more, coming from all different directions.
Yes, because just the sheer accessibility, but also like, if you don't have someone in your life that you really respect, validating you and counteracting what you see in the media, it's so easy to fall susceptible to what the people around you say, and if you don't have that,
No, go ahead. Like I just looked at something and you were talking about it, and I was like, okay, I think Tori said something about someone she knew in her past, and I thought about this question. Do you think a lot of women out here are changing their bodies, not just to look good, but just to make money, on the internet? IG, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat. What do you think, Tori?
So yeah, just to piggyback and kind of go into that, what Janelle was saying, a lot of it is social media, and it's not just social media, just being social media, but it's the instantaneousness, if that is a word, of it. So like these kids can take a picture and Snapchat or whatever, throw a filter on and look exactly how they want to look. They can, people out here doing deep fakes. So it's just like, they want to look like something. They see what they want to look like, and they can achieve that look instantly. That's different. That's different. So they're playing. So with the plastic surgery, they're playing real life filters with their face. They say, "Oh, I can do it in the phone, so now I can do it in the phone. I'll go get it for real as soon as I get some money." And then like you said, with the TikTok and the social media and all that, they can make money off of it, and they've seen regular ass people make millions of dollars just by looking a certain way.
Right.
Why not? If these kids can game and make $1 million off of gaming, I can make $1 million just by looking a certain way, and all I got to do is spend some money to look that certain way. Sure,
Right.
They're
Yeah.
not.
Black China. I saw. I forget some. Now, mind you, this I'm regurgitating what was said to me. I didn't read the story or anything, but I believe it was a podcast I listened to, and they were giving a report on like current events. And so, rapper, model, maybe actress, I don't know. Black China has an OnlyFans page, or had one, and she made like $100 million. And then just off, her aesthetic, her look. She, if you're not familiar with it, I believe she grew up in the DC area. She used to be a dancer, stripper, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And she's got a body that's manufactured, and she has since began the process of removing those, extras from her. And it's like she made that $100 million, and it's not anybody touching you. It's just them looking at you. They're subscribing to see whatever it is you do, and you're selling a fantasy. So, yeah, people who want to escape their realities go towards fantasies, and some people are willing to pay a pretty penny to escape their reality. And what I don't want to see is somebody that looks like my wife. I want to see somebody that's my fantasy.
Well,
and
but it's also like, just think about these filters. Now, it's unfortunate that I was on the internet before any type of filtering was allowed. But I'm just saying, back then it was like, whatever picture you got, but be it grainy or whatever, you saw who that person was for at least what that was. But it's like now, like you said, and Tori said, you as men, I'm speaking for the men. I ain't speaking for none of the ladies, because I'm sure men do it too. So let's get that out there. Yeah, I don't use them, but I'm sure men out there use filters too. But it's for us, like, and we're talking like dating sites. If you aren't married or you're not in a serious relationship, you on dating sites, and you like, I can tell that that's a filter.
right.
So it's like you are on this dating site trying to find somebody, misrepresenting yourself off the break. So when I see how like this whole body, you gotta have this, and then you got people that's kids in school body shaming. How can you body shame when you ain't even finished growing? And I can see how I can see how they create these like things in normal kids, women's mind growing up, that they think already they hate themselves, and they ain't even gotten to who they gonna be anyway. Like somebody short in high school, and then gets a growth spurt, in senior year. Now he's the 6-foot person, and but before he felt like he was 2 feet tall, because everybody like, oh, you got to be tall. So it happens in the black world, the black man world too. Oh, you're not tall enough. Whatever. But
or on the flip side, when girls are too tall, or not too tall, but they're perceived as too tall, and then it's like, oh, you're an Amazon, or like, being a taller person when everyone else in your grade is shorter, then it's like you feel awkward as well. Like, it's the same thing on the flip side. It's all, I think everything goes back to mentality and like how you feel about yourself. It's really just what it all boils down to. Unless it's like, you know what, I really know who I am. I know what I'm about and what I'm capable of, but I know this is gonna make me a fast buck. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this money real quick. I'm gonna spend this $60,000 for these breasts and and this liposuction. I'm gonna go, and the butt implants, and like make sure the thighs match, because that's important. I'm so sick of you ladies. Make sure your thighs and the butt match. And like, I'm gonna just run it up. I'm gonna run this check up real quick. I'm gonna get this money from this person, get this money from this person, and I'm gonna sit back. And it's like, what did I do except sit in front of a camera?
Right.
I do feel I've seen, in my everyday life, scrolling through Facebook, and we all have that one person that we know, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, that almost always has a filter. And when I see those people, I'm sad, because it's like, you do realize other people know what you look like in real life, and I get you like this filter, and you're like, dang, I look good.
Yeah, but do you say anything? Even now,
It's not my place.
Well,
because it's my opinion, and that could be
it's your opinion. Off. Everyone has one, but if you take, I can understand in that form, but if you take it to a friend that's getting, multiple procedures done to him, and this is a friend, this is not, an acquaintance, this is somebody you know and love or whatever, do you feel that you should at some point intervene when you see that it's getting beyond what's normal? Tori, I'll let you take that one.
I mean, when you say intervene, I can't intervene because
you can't stop them, but more it's a more mental thought, saying something just to be like, hey, maybe she ain't or he ain't woke and they got their blinders on. Let me see if I can,
As a friend, I have a responsibility to my friend to let them know that they are loved, they are beautiful. And if they interpret that as maybe I don't need all of this and they don't get all this work done, then I've done my job. But to try and stop somebody, I have a responsibility to make sure their mental is correct. They're in the right headspace. And even if they are in the right headspace and they still choose to do all of this, that's on them. They're grown people. I don't have children. So
right. True. And like you said, of course you've all known that Cardi B, back in her early, not too long ago, but it's been like almost 10 years or whatever. She got her butt injections, in Queens somewhere, and, she said it was painful and had, because she at that point had more money and she had to get some of it removed just to get like a proper job done or whatever. And, so when I thought about that, I'm like, okay, I know about the money, but then it's, I read, if you ever see that TV show Botched before.
Yeah.
And one of the main doctors on there is Terry Dubrow, and they like out here saying like on these, of course it's still reality, but it's truth in that reality. He's saying that there's so many, like the majority of all issues with plastic surgery is the BBL. And yet there's, rhinoplasty and all this other kind of stuff that, it happens, but because it's not the most major type of thing you see online, of what's getting done, the BBL kind of pretty much wins out all the time. But it's like, and I say, are y'all doing y'all research, ladies, or whatever man did that? That people are dying, so it's like you before you go out here and get these, it shouldn't never be about how much it costs, because how much is your life cost? How much is it worth? You know what I'm saying? If it's worth, like Tori said, it's your decision one way or the other. But as a person wanting to get something done and be healthy, how much time do you wish to put into something that could hurt you in the long run? That's all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. And
Greg, it's like this too. It's kind of like, think about what this is doing to your body. It's the same thing with when people used to get bigger breasts. They would get these breasts so big, and then years later they'd have to get them reduced, because what do they end up with? Back problems. Your body's not designed to carry that much weight. It's the same thing with the BBLs. You're putting all this weight on your lower half, and then you're, cinching in your waist. Your body's not designed to carry all that weight. So it's going to cause complications, whether it's complications today or complications 10 years down the line. At some point, you're going to have some problems with your hips, with your back. Is it really worth it?
Exactly. Exactly. Thus, the name of this episode, Going Under the Knife. Is it really worth it, ladies and men? Is it? Because with just a few things we've talked about, and we haven't even delved deep into it because it goes deeper than the rabbit hole. I mean, because ultimately it's, your choice because it's your body, whoever you are. But it's like, I saw one of those reels on Instagram, and the guy, like, to paraphrase, he was basically saying, "Oh, if I gave you $1 million, would you be happy?" And they were like, "Yes." And they said, "Well, what if I gave you $10 million, but you wouldn't wake up tomorrow?" They immediately said, "No, I would turn it down." And then basically he's saying, why doesn't everybody wake up not want money, to so it's like it was deep. I didn't, you have to look it up. I don't know what it was. But it makes you think, it makes you really like think beyond what everybody out here is looking for. A whole, men want all the money so they can get all the pretty girls with the BBLs and the double D's and whatever else they consider like internet popular. But I'll tell you all out here, ladies, that you know, every man, every real man, after he gets to a point in his life where he becomes a full man, and that means mentally, that they want not what they see on TV. If you built like that, then that's a blessing. They want to see a person that's real. The woman asked me, how would you want to see me when you first meet me? When you wake up. Because if I like you then, it can only get better. So, but it's like I did some, how you do the research, and then it's like, 2005 to 2013, there's like 56% growth in plastic surgery. And the only thing that makes me mad is that I wasn't invested in some plastic surgery hospital, because obviously, that's where the money is. And I feel really bad for the women and men that are those small percentage of cases that don't get what they went for. And like, what's the saying? You live by your decisions. So, as I tell all the young men out there, if you don't want to have unwanted children, take some time to think before you lay down and ask yourself, can I live with this woman deal with her for the rest of my life? Okay, ladies, and it goes both ways. I know that's right, Janelle. Yeah, but for some parting thoughts here, and I want to thank everybody for coming through. What if you were in a position, if either of you had Oprah status, and I don't mean money, none of that, Oprah built to a point where she could just say stuff and people would be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do it. So if you had Oprah status and you were able to go and tell people just to say like, hey, this is bad, because you will become hated. You know what I mean? In the woman world, if you went out and was one of those people that everybody listened to and you say, stop getting it, it's not worth it. Now, half of them will probably love you, but the other half will probably dislike you. Do you agree?
Yeah.
It's a hypothetical. That's hard to say. Okay. Given what I've seen, what we've seen, and again, back to the social media, like reality TV, sure, there's your message is never going to be palatable to everyone, especially if it goes against their wants. So sure, if me, if I can respectfully go to someone and say, hey, I just don't think this is a good idea, for these reasons, or do it, but do it with care and honor and, like that kind of thing. Not everybody's going to receive that. It's going to be, oh, here she go. Like it's the same way some people didn't want to hear MLK because they're like, oh, he's outdated. You just don't get it. Like I'm 35, somebody in their 20s, again, whose main motivations in their decision making is based off of emotions, it's not going to hear from me. It's going to be, you don't know, like you 15 years older than me. Life is totally different. It's really not. It's literally the same thing.
Yes, it is. Well,
but you can't reach everybody, and it's really not my mission.
Well,
that's not what God put me on this earth.
Yeah, the mission for every one person is to do what the one person is, that person in the mirror. Everything starts with one. Mm-hmm. So you live by example. You don't have to say anything. People are always watching. And most of the people that really look up to you, but they're not, they're afraid to really tell you, that you inspire them, because a lot of us do, and we really all do. We just don't know who it is that looks up to us and how we're living and how we're doing. But if more, I wish in the industry, more women of power and prestige would talk about, this right here, like even if they do it themselves, because I'd rather, someone that they're going to listen to, even if it's a star, if they saying the right things. I want them, my youngest daughter, the younger people, I want them to like say, you beautiful off the break. I mean, coming up, even them, they know they have friends that they just got the body. It's nothing. It's just nature. Everybody don't have the same body. Some men just got the frame. That's what it is. So it's like, don't think that what you see on the internet or on TV, because if you want it, you got to do something that all of us, black, white, purple, green, whatever, don't want to do a lot of the time. So that's why they spend the money. We don't want to work. We don't want to work out. We don't want to eat right. We don't want to, do all the things that if you do that, you're going to have a nice body anyway. Now, granted,
sometimes, it's genetics. Some people, like their genetics, their metabolism, they're just not going to have it. Some people just, whether working out, eating supplements, whatever, like if almost the majority of people in your family or a good bit of people in your family are string beans, I'm sorry to be offensive to anyone, but that's trying to give a visual, then that's just what your body's going to be. And it really boils down to accepting who you are and loving who you are, where you are. And that's the biggest part, but it's also the hardest part, especially when you have society and other people telling you you're not good enough. So you have to be strong enough to be like, I am good enough. I'm actually way better. And I'm adding text, kiss my ass. But you also need those people. You got to surround yourself with like-minded people who continuously pour into you or do things. If you have to, like I've cultivated my Instagram feed because I have moments where, I'm perfectly honest, I have moments where I start feeling envious, feeling like, well, what someone has that I saw I want. And it's like my chosen social media, something that's extracurricular, doesn't pay me. I'm choosing to do it, should not make me feel like I'm not good enough. So I cultivated my thread for it being things that bring me joy, like my interests. And that way social media isn't as problematic, but you have to recognize that there's an issue and then intentionally decide, I want to correct this issue because it's healthier for me. But it's so easy to stay in that place. And if you genuinely believe all it takes is for me to get this big old bubble butt, then my life will be great. I can get my bills paid and this and that, and and I can breathe. I think a lot of times it's just people want to get out of that hole, like that mental, emotional, like it's just, if I could just have this, I'll be okay. If I just made more money, I'll be okay.
But when it happens, and nothing changes. You know, at some point the epiphany or something has to arise, you know, to ask whoever it is doing whatever they're doing it and doing it for. It's like, you know, money doesn't buy happiness. Money is just a necessity. So it's like saying anything that you want, you know, is is it one thing that I can do that's gonna satisfy me, or are there pros and cons on it? Which is like, oh, I got the BBL, yeah, I'm getting a little attention, but I probably get a little bit more if I got my tummy tuck or whatever. And so, you know, it just never ends. So it's like, for them, I'd say, how do you go into that, having that mentality and not, you know, saying, oh, this is going to be the only time, and it never ends up. It's like getting tattoos, you know, like,
Don't come for me.
yeah, and I'm not coming for you, but I'm just saying, it's just like, you know, tattoo. When my oldest daughter asked me, she was like, oh, Dad, I'm gonna get a tattoo. And I said, okay. I said, but don't get hooked, because you get one. And I said, and if you do get one that has some meaning, that's gonna mean something 30 years from now. You know, don't get something because it's cute. You know,
Why? What if she thinks
right?
it's cute? What if it's
Right.
like, I like a calla lily and it doesn't mean anything to me. I just think aesthetically it's cute.
Well, I know a few women in my age group that got roses on their breasts back when we was young, and I'm gonna let
Or
you
like
know.
the Eve paw print, and I'm a rough
I'm
rider.
just, I'm just
And I think
saying.
Eve removed her paw prints. I think her paw prints are now gone.
It's like, yeah, but I'm just saying, just think about that. You know, I told her that, like, you're young, you know, think about it. It is cute right now, but like, think about later. Is it going to be cute? Is it still going to be relevant to you and your life? You know, stuff like that. Other than, man, I got this stupid thing way back then when I was 20, and now I wish I never did it, you know, and unfortunately, you can get tattoos taken off, you know, with a little bit of discomfort. But when you start getting all this stuff, and that's what Black China said. She said that she was getting stuff taken out and returning to like regular, you know, and I applaud her on that. You know, I mean, she got to a point where it's like, I really don't need all that attention. I really don't desire all that. I got money now, you know. I got a Kardashian, you know. So she, you know, but at the same time, you know, the reality shows, all this, you know, you see our women, my women, you know, your sisters on TV on these reality shows, and they talking about each other body wise, body shaming or body whatever, and it's helping the whole thing, because our youngins watch these shows and you know, oh, I like this and whoop whoop whoop, and they sitting there talking about it. Just, if you already got some little self-esteem issues or body esteem issues, now all of a sudden, you know, you're backed up by somebody you don't even know. You just like them. You don't even know, you know, and that's the whole thing with the whole reality TV. And then you following people and their body types and this, when that's not really reality. You don't even know these people in everyday life. They don't even look like that, you know, when they really home chilling. So,
Like,
you
they
know,
go through hours of makeup before they even get on camera.
that's all I gotta say. You know, it's like you know, sometimes, you know, just like I'm on here and I'm whoever comes, whoever sees this afterwards, you know, this is, you know, opinionated, because we all have ours, entertainment. That's what it is. We just out here talking and sharing, you know,
Yeah.
our opinions on subjects that, you know, one would hope all would think about at some point in time, and think about it with like some good thought to how, you know, you could just throw one-liners and stuff online just to like wake some people up if they're not wake. And it don't matter to us, because you just shooting the shot. You can't hit them all, right? But at least you tried, and You know how they say on some of those talk shows or maybe some podcasts or whatever, they say, I had a caller or I had a listener write back or email me, and they said that what the guest said really touched them. You know what I mean? Like touched them and made them look at themselves and see their issue, because they had the same like their story was just felt the same as theirs,
Yeah.
and you could be 800,000 followers or subscribers or whatever, but just that one person that said they got something from you is worth all your time, all your energy, all your little memes just of hope or betterment, So it's like, who's ever out there doing that, don't stop, because somebody is paying attention.
So,
And
so
again,
Greg, you brought that up. I don't know if you're familiar with K. Michelle, R&B singer or whatever, but she was she's one of those people. She went through surgery and it didn't go well for her. She's had complications. She's been honest and vocal about all her complications. And then she even went so far as the last show she did was how plastic surgery almost killed me. And it was all these stories of real people who went and got different plastic surgeries, and it tells their complications. So it didn't glorify necessarily.
Right.
The benefit. It told the truth. And I think more people should probably do that, because there are a lot more people than just K. Michelle that had complications with their plastic surgery. And people need to hear that so they can understand the risks that come along with it.
Yeah, and you're right, because it shows even in the statistics that, it's like all the popular people or just successful surgeries that's been done in the course of a year, there's like 100% more of botched ones that they never publicize unless it's a superstar, and then a superstar is not even going to bring it out because it's a blemish against them, because they're admittedly saying I get plastic surgery if it wasn't already known. So it's sad, because people that's out here, I'm sure, wanting to get this stuff, need to hear these stories from people that got money to lose or to burn, and they out here saying, you know what, I'm lucky I got the money to fix whatever I tried to fix, and but everybody ain't gonna have that,
Right.
and to me that's scary. I just don't know how women or men that make these decisions make them lightly.
I think it's I can't speak for everyone, but for me, what makes most sense is it's a level of knowledge. Like if you don't know to be afraid of something or to be wary of something and to do research, you're just going to go, I think it really depends on your personality. And it, like if this is an optimistic person who doesn't live in reality, they tend to live in a dream world and everything just goes their way. They're not going to think about the risk. They're not going to think like, oh, they may not think that, okay, there's a possibility that this could go wrong. Or if it is, they'll think like, the worst thing is, okay, instead of it taking 6 weeks to recover, it'll take 8. I might have to change my little oozing grenade bag a little more than normal. It's one of those kind of things. Or I just, with the question of the show, like the title being, is it worth it? I don't know that anybody can give that opinion because it changes from person to person, you know? So it's like, to us, it's not worth it. But to somebody who absolutely hates how they look, and no matter, they're going to do it at any cost just to feel good. And what they're not realizing is it's in here. You're ugly in here. It's not in your heart. It's not on the physical. But if you don't recognize that you are beautiful, anybody that's looking for negativity can find it. So if you're looking for a problem, you can find it. If it's, oh, well, my skin tone isn't even, so I'm going to bleach, and you do that, and then you have the doctors that are like, I feel like, with the plastic surgeons, some of them, if they're not like, like the cosmetic, like, the what's it called, the optional surgeries or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like they're kind of like mechanics. You go in for one thing, but then they like, oh, well, what about this? Oh, yeah, your butt looks great now, and then but we could probably do a tummy tuck, maybe
Oh, of
shave a
course.
little red.
Hey, what is it called? Let me tell you what
Right,
it's
it's
called.
like an extra value meal with some of these
Yeah.
doctors.
It's the upsell because it's
Tori,
capitalism.
Tori,
Okay,
what did
next
we
time
get
you
for
come
it?
in, we'll wax your lip.
Yeah, I mean, just saying, like, it's funny to me because me and Tori, we work together, right? In our industry, what you're talking about, like what you're giving description of, is what we're told to do. Upsell,
Yep.
upsell. Like keep it going. I mean, it's like, like not to put down any of you cosmetic surgeons or out there or whatever, but it's the game, and it's the game is just how you live. You went to school, you got hundreds of thousands of fine what is the school
The
bills
school
that you
loans,
got to pay, whatever,
debt,
you know,
student loans.
right. And so it's like you out there trying to do the right thing, make people smile that you operate on or do whatever you do. But at the same time, this bills got to get paid. So, and I know some of them, and I hate to say it, if I was in there before I got any morals, I'd probably be the same one. I would say, oop, I got one. I could tell already that she ain't feeling herself. And she got money. I could just keep feeding her, and she's going, oh, you think so, doctor? Because she trusts the doctor. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen that on some of those reality shows where, the doctor says, oh, maybe I need to. And I'll be like, man, you letting somebody else,
Just a little bit
and
of
you paying for it.
Yeah. So get a little Botox, get a little filler, get a little, injection in your chin to kind of, it's like, oh, we can shave your jawline. This is all kinds of things that can be done. And ultimately,
it's like
they're preying upon your weakness.
It's like people that back in the 80s or early 80s, late 70s, probably the 60s and stuff, who used to go to the dentist to maybe get a cap or filling, and what they come out with, a gold tooth, So, I mean, it's the same thing.
Right.
You said it's the game. It's been the game. It's always been the game. That's how it is.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, even like, going to your normal, doctor visits, it's just like they come in and they start spitting like, oh, well, it's flu season and pneumonia season and whatever else. Did you get your shot? And then you say, no, I didn't. Oh, we can get it today. No, we won't.
No, thank you.
I mean, and it's, it's more so, it goes back to, we just don't like taking, inoculations from doctors anymore. Like I gotta be saying I gotta die if I don't take this, and then I really need to see a few people die before I say, okay, I'm gonna take it. But it's this whole game, and the whole thing I feel so bad about with this episode is that a lot of women and men have to, pay for, being like botched, because everybody don't get what they go in there for. And, I hope people would listen to this episode and see that, hey man, sometimes just either research more if you really, really, really need or want to get it. Do like research like you've never researched before. So when you go in, you're gonna feel so much confidence that you're doing the right thing by the right person. And just save your money, and don't go to no backyard places, because if they ain't got nothing hanging on the wall but one of them old Last Supper pictures, you don't need to be getting your stuff done in there. So Janelle, look, so we're gonna shut it down. We getting up here on the hour, and again, I want to thank everybody. I want to let y'all give y'all partings before I give the parting. We'll start with you, Janelle.
I didn't have anything in the intro, so you set me up. Go ahead, play your sound.
Oh,
That's not it, but I'll take it.
yeah, I gave you that one because I ain't want to give you the womp womp womp.
This has been a very stimulating conversation. I appreciate you for bringing me on. I am very passionate about mental health and psychological, conversations, circumstances, especially within the Black community and within like marginalized communities in general, but specifically Black women, because I am one. And I know what I've experienced and I know what my girlfriends have experienced, and so it's like, in order to stop perpetuating the cycle, we have to acknowledge it and then determine to make change, for the generations coming up behind us. Otherwise, it's just going to continue. So thank you for bringing this up, Greg.
Yeah, okay. And Tori, Ms. Vaughn.
Yeah, just I would say, the world would be a boring place if everybody was the same. Everybody is meant to be different. So if there's something about you that's different, embrace it, because who wants to be like everybody else? That's boring. So embrace your flaws, your differences. Flaws aren't always bad. They're uniqueness. So embrace those.
Yeah.
You heard it first here from Tori and Janelle. I want to thank you both for coming through. And as we close here on Inside the Logic, I just want to let everybody know that to piggyback on my guest panelists and let you all know that it's all about who you are. Be who you are and be happy with who you are, because you can't be anybody else, even if you get everything fixed or shaped or reshaped or whatever it is. You're still going to be the same person inside. So beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but the first person that you always want to look beautiful for is yourself. So in parting, as always, don't believe everything you hear. Just look inside the logic.